the CFL's leading rusher, Brady Oliveira, joins us now on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Brady, what's going on? Great to have you back on the show.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me back on. It's been a while.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, listen, we've been enjoying watching what you and the squad have been doing, man. That was a vintage Bomber second half, and I got to tell you, I'm not sure whether there's been a longer drive than 9 minutes and 37 seconds over the last 4 or 5 years. But that to me was vintage Bomber football, and it looked like you and the O-line were having a hell of a lot of fun as you put that game to bed. Take us back to the second half in that fourth quarter and how you guys took over that football game.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth right there. It was a whole lot of fun. That's our identity, around this team, around this offense is our bread and butter. Let's run the ball. Let's get the big guys up front going. And, like we were saying, once those guys up front are going, this offense as a whole is really on. They're on fire when they can get, guys moving up front, move the line of scrimmage, allow me to get to the second level and do what I do. So it was good. I mean, that game, last week's game kind of started off a little bit slow for us in the run game, but I think, we stuck to it. We trusted the run game, knowing that it eventually will open up. And I always say, I mean, if we play the way that we play, which is, smart, tough, physical football, emphasizing on the physical part of it, we do that for 4 quarters, a defense isn't going to want to play that type of football for 4 quarters. They're not going to want to tackle a running back that's running physical for 4 quarters. And I think you saw that in the Calgary game. Calgary did a great job for the first, 3 quarters and even a little bit into the fourth. And then we really just, stuck to it and took over in the fourth and played our style of football. But the offensive line is doing an amazing job right now. Our receivers, are coming in and doing the dirty work. Receivers in this league are, taught to run and catch the football. And this offense, you got to be willing to block and to lay your body in the line. And our receiver, Wally, Rashid, Dembski, I mean, our receivers go in there and do that and allow me to, get to the second level and to do what I do. So total team effort in the run game. And obviously there's going to be weeks where, the run game might be a little off and we expect, our receivers to go up and make big plays. So total team effort.
It's funny you mentioned the receivers because I was going to ask you about that. I mean, Rashid Bailey's a favorite of ours. I mean, he's so much fun to talk to. I mean, I think he might be the most intense individual I've ever met in my life. I mean, like 24/7. I mean, he is
no doubt.
wired.
He's always on, man.
But he may be like to your point about the receivers. I think he epitomizes the selflessness of the players that have become part of this championship squad, the way he leans into dudes in the running game. And I mean, listen, you can see how guys react to the different tasks that they're given by the coaching staff. And he in particular, but I mean, not to single him out because a lot of the guys that you just mentioned are getting into it. They know that they are a big part of running the football, even if it's not going to show up in their stat package at the end of the game.
100%. I think you said the word of, our guys being selfless and showing that on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis. Everyone in this sport is going to have an ego. We need you to have an ego. We need you to think that when you get the ball, you're going to score or you're going to make a big play every time you get the ball. But it needs to come a time where, this is a team sport. You got to put that ego to the side and be selfless. And it's hard sometimes, especially at this level, when you want to get the production and the touches. And I'm, very blessed to be in the position to get the amount of touches I do get in a game. You look at a receiver, in our offense, the blocking, the running that we do in this offense, our receivers are, they go in there and they block. And like you said, not to just, point, just to look at one particular receiver in our offense that does such a good job of it, because like I said, Wally, Dembski, Dalton, like the list goes on. All of our receivers, if you want to be a receiver in this offense, you got to block. But man, Rashid Bailey, like that dude is so selfless. He wants the ball, of course, but even if he doesn't get the ball, he is in there doing the dirty work. And it really, allows me to, it's like I have an extra big boy in there that's willing to go in there and to block for me. And it's Yeah, we're able to scheme a lot of things around Sheed, knowing that, we have a receiver like that that's willing to go in there and block, and not even just willing. He does such a good job at it now. Like, he is a total vet when it comes to the run game blocking. He understands the bigger picture, and having a guy like that where it's just not like, okay, that's your guy, go block him. It's like, okay, well, if your guy now switches or moves, like, you need to know who do you go to next. And Rashid understands that. He's a vet. He's been playing this game for a very long time. So in the run game, I mean, it helps, us big time, but me personally big time. I was actually in the offseason when Sheed was going through all of his contract talks, and we're so lucky and fortunate to have him back. He's such a big part of this team, but I needed him back, personally. This team needed him, but I needed him because he does such a good job in the run game, and the success that I have is a big part of Rashid allowing me to get to those second level. Also the offensive line, but he just allows me to get to that next level and take that next step, breaking those longer runs, because he just does such a good job in the run game. And it makes me want to play harder when I got selfless teammates that are going to put themselves first, or put, you know what I mean? Like, they do such a good job. So, yeah, this whole locker room is amazing, but obviously we spent so much time as an offense together, and everyone is so selfless. And I think that's the best word to use to describe this offense is we're selfless. At the end of the day, we just want to win football games. However we can get it done, we just want to win.
Hey, what's it like in the huddle in the fourth quarter when you've picked up a couple first downs running the football? You know what the story is. Just keep the ball and keep moving the chains. And the plays keep coming in, and Buck keeps calling another run. What are the O-linemen saying in that huddle right now before you get back out there to snap it?
It's fun. I think it just fires us up. When we have another run play called, especially the runs that have been working, and some of our bread and butter, our favorite runs that I'm not going to say what our favorite runs are, but in that huddle we know what runs we want to get called, and when they get called, we're fired up. But actually, I got to say a little story from last game in the huddle in that fourth quarter when the plays are coming in. So like you said, Buck keeps calling run after run after run, and of course they're feeding me and I'm getting into a groove. So I remember my hands being on my knees and I'm just bending over. We're about to get into the huddle. Zach's running into the huddle to call the play. And Zach, it's like, Brady, are you good? Like, you want a breather? And I remember getting up and looking right at Zach. I'm like, Zach, you cannot take me out of this huddle. Like, I will not leave this huddle. You're going to have to drag me out of this huddle before I go take a breather. So, yeah, when I'm locked in, I don't care if it's 5 carries, if it's 10 carries in a row, even 10 blocks in a row, whatever it is. I owe it to my teammates. I owe it to my teammates to go out there and honor them every single play, battle my behind off and play for them and go get W's every single week for them. So makes you, I think when you're in a huddle like that and you care for one another so deeply, we all love each other, man. Like, we're all brothers. And I think when you have that relationship, when I'm tired in that moment, it could be very easily to, go, hey, I need a breather. But I look to the guy next to me. I see Wally in there that I love that dude to death. I'm like, man, I can't leave. I got to stay in this huddle and I got to go get another first down and we got to seal this game off, right? So, no, this is definitely a special huddle to be a part of and special offense because it makes me want to play harder, man.
The big boys up front certainly seem to enjoy it as well, kind of exhibiting. And like we've talked before, I mean, football, as complicated as so many of the plays are and the strategies, and the amount of hours that the coaches spend game planning, this game is won and lost on the line of scrimmage. And if you look at this last 5-year period for the Bombers being, a championship caliber team, it really has started on the line of scrimmage on both sides. Willie J and Jackson on the defensive side and the offensive line. And I mean, that was, I think, a reminder to everyone in the rest of the Canadian Football League that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are still a problem for the rest of the league. That being said, it was only a couple weeks ago that, listen, you guys have certainly deserved an off night. I mean, you've set the bar so high. But I have to ask you, what was it like in the locker room and in the days following that loss to BC where, for the first time in 5 years, you lost to a Western opponent? And And I mean, credit to BC. They came in and played their asses off and certainly deserved to win that football game.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got whooped. They made more plays than us. Yeah, I personally do think it was for sure a one-off. I mean, I don't think you're going to see that happen again. It's almost like we're glad that it happened. Maybe not as early as it did in the season, but I think you look at even last year and the year before that. There's always been a game where we've kind of been maybe a little bit lackadaisical and kind of get caught slipping. But I think it's good. I think it humbles you. We need to remind ourselves every single week that to stay humble, because you can get beat any given day. Especially in this league, with not a lot of teams in this league, and you can get beat any week. So yeah, I think it's the main message was obviously don't take your opponent lightly, and to not ever get outworked again, because I think you saw that in the BC game. We got outworked on the line of, we're just talking about the line of scrimmage, and these games are won on the line of scrimmage, and I think BC dominated us. They did a good job on all three phases, and we got outworked. We're a team that takes pride in the process and working hard and embracing the grind, and I think we just kind of maybe took a little step back, almost like we were expecting to win every single game. And we need to still give credit to our opponents, because like I said, you can get beat any given day. But yeah, I think it was a good reminder that you can lose any given week, and you got to stay humble, and you got to just not get outworked. So like I said, that's a one-off from this group. I don't see that happening ever again this season. But yeah, we just got to make sure now we just continue to stay consistent and keep on, getting to this level instead of being like this. Start fast and continue to find ways to keep improving every single weekend, and to get on, the incline level instead of just like a roller coaster.
And I mean, listen, we know as I said, the bar's been set so high by this team. And by everyone in the locker room, that when you have a game like that I'm sure it makes everybody kind of look in the mirror as to what they can do better. And certainly we saw real strong performance, especially on the defense. I mean, the way the defense bounced back in the following game, holding the opponents to 3 points, and then really not giving up anything in the second half speaks well. I mean, what sort of level of confidence does it give your offensive group when you see the Blue Bomber defense playing at the level that it does quite often did, for instance, in that second half against Calgary?
Man, they've been on fire, but when they're on, we know as an offense that, when they're on the field, that they're going to get us the ball back pretty quickly. So just to stay ready, you never know if it's first down, second down, okay, second down, after that, punt, get ready. But for us, it's get ready when the defense is on the field, have your helmet close by, because we might be heading on there. So, Willie with Jackson back now, I think Jackson's such a terror on that D line. I mean, Willie's one problem, but I think when you have Jackson out there too, I mean, he's a problem. Biggie in the middle. BA having a great season. Damari Houston with 6 turnovers right now on the season. I mean, our defense is playing lights out right now, and I think what it gives us as an offense being on the sidelines is that they're gonna have our back if we make a mistake. Everyone's gonna make mistakes, but when we do as an offense, they're gonna have our back. They're gonna get us the ball back to go out there and to execute and to go get points on the board. So, knowing that we have a defense like that, and knowing that we're never going to be on the sidelines for that long is a good feeling.
And just as you mentioned Houston, I mean, the season he's having is making big plays like in the fourth quarter. And I got to ask you about Greg McCrae. I mean, you talk about a guy that came in and did everything in many different ways to help your team win a football game. I mean, that wheel route that he took to the house to tie the game up at the end of the second half. But I mean, the play of the week in the Canadian Football League was that return on the missed field goal, 102 yards. I mean, for the guys that are sitting there ready to get on the field, putting your helmet on, ready to get out there, what's it like watching a teammate make a play like that? Often it's Janarian Grant. This time it was Greg stepping up.
Dude, that guy is a beast. And I've been saying this, probably not openly in the public because no one really been talking about Greg like that, but I've been saying to people how much of a guy he is. Like that dude is a stud. Like as a football, him as a human being is another thing. Like that dude is like such a good person. Like first off, which is why I love him so much. Like he's such a good guy, but as a football player, man, he's a stud. And it's almost like he's been our diamond in the rough this whole time. Like last year, it's almost like we were hiding him almost like, okay, like you saw little, glimpses of Greg. Oh, who's this? What's this guy all about? And then, I'm so happy that he's getting his opportunity now and showing what he can do. But man, that he's a stud. And I think for me also why I enjoy having him out there is because I think he complements me so well. You can have, first off, he can play multiple positions as a receiver. He can play running back. He can return. So right there, him have a weapon like that is very useful. Buck Pierce probably loves that as offensive coordinator. No, you can just like plug a guy in anywhere. But me being a running back and playing the way that I do, it's almost like he's, I'm thunder, he's lightning, and he complements me so well. When we're both in there, it's like chaos for the defense. We don't know who's getting the ball. You don't know who's doing what. When he's in there, he really, throws off the defense. They're expecting, they've been expecting power runs this whole game. Now he goes in there and it throws the defense off. So I think it's good. I think it'll allow us to do, more things in this offense. Having a guy like that, that's like another Swiss Army knife. We got Dembski like that. We got Greg. It's a good problem to have. Now we just got to continue to find ways to, elevate his game and find ways to get him the ball. And yeah, he's going to have a very good career in this league. And I just couldn't be happier just because I've seen all the work that he's put in, him being on PR, pretty much all last year, and him knowing what his worth is and knowing what he can do on the football field. And he's showing that now. So just couldn't be happier for the guy.
Brady Oliveira, the Bombers, the CFL's leading rusher, with us here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Speaking of being the leading rusher, 400 down, many more to go this season, but it's good news for the kids at Variety. I know you're particularly excited about that because every yard is some money for a Variety Club.
Absolutely, yes. Variety, I partnered up with Variety to do something pretty cool with them this year. It's called Hometown Champion. So I'm their hometown champion this year, and every yard that I gain this year, either rushing or receiving, $10 goes to the kids at Variety. So the sponsor is actually Monopoly Realty. So they're going to have to be paying some big bucks this year because I expect to continue to get lots of yards every game, and hopefully by the end of the year we're able to have a lot of money raised and all that money going back to the kids. And Variety does, so many amazing things with, children living with disabilities. And the fact that I can, put my name behind that and partner with such an amazing charity like that. And now do lots of other things. The other day on our off day, I was actually helping kids ride a bike for the first time. They have a bike camp called I Can Bike. And I spent my afternoon helping kids trying to learn a bike. And they do the camp for the whole week. And the goal is at the end of the week, they take off their like training wheels, they call them, and they can ride a bike for the first time by themselves. So I'm able to do lots of cool things now with Variety. And people that know me in the community, I love giving back, whether that's with the rescue work or with kids or whatever the case is. I feel like this is my calling. Football is one thing, but I feel like my biggest passion in this life is to impact others and to go out there and do good things. So yeah, Variety Club is awesome, and we hope to get me to, I don't want to really speak on it, but I'll say it now because I want it for the kids, hopefully to get to another 1,000 yards. That's $10,000 to the kids, so we got to get to that this year.
Well, and then add in a few more receiving as well and keep
That's
topping
right.
it up. I have to say, obviously what you've done on the field is impressive, and it's extra special, having a kid, you're a man yourself, that grew up here and is now starring for the Blue Bombers. But it is, it's just phenomenal the way you embrace your role, but also the opportunity to make a difference in other areas of the community. And I think a lot of people knew plenty about what you've done, with dog rescues and, with, your animal passions. But it's just another really great thing that I think speaks to the place of the Bombers in this community and how, the impacts that are made way beyond game day by a number of people. Speaking of the dogs, I know it's a little busier right now for you with, in the middle of the season. But I'm not sure whether this was something that you put out or something else that I saw on social media, but I do understand like the need for people to adopt these orphan dogs is at a real high right now and almost a crucial area. You want to just quickly speak on that? I know it's one of your passions, and obviously if we can help one dog
Absolutely.
get saved, it's worthwhile talking about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people understand the extent of how many animals are truly out there, and how many dogs or cats are needing homes. I'll put it into perspective. This was 2 weeks ago. We had a longer week. We had a couple days off, and on one of my off days, I went to one of the northern communities, and I did a poll. We went out there and we handed out dog food to the community members, medication, tick and flea, whatever it was. And then dogs that were needing to be brought into our care, I was, getting them surrendered and bringing them back to Winnipeg. So long story short, we brought back 40 animals, cats and dogs, in just one afternoon of being in the community and not even really thoroughly searching for dogs. We were more so there on a wellness check to make sure it was a hot day, to make sure dogs got fresh food and water out, proper shelter, things like that. And after not even searching, we came back with 40 animals. So now we bring those 40 animals back to Winnipeg into our foster care. But now we need a rescue to take on those animals to now find their forever home and getting adopted. So you think about it, the average person is probably only adopting one pet. So that's 40 households that need to come together and to adopt those animals. And if people stop adopting these pets, it's like, well, I can't go to these communities and to bring in dogs that truly need to be brought in, that need our care. So yeah, I think the importance of opening your home, if you have the space, to a dog, I think, or a cat, whatever it is, will change your life. You'll find you'll find a special bond with that dog, and I think it's good. You're doing something good. You're finding a great companion, but you're also giving that dog the life that it deserves, rather than going and I'll always be for adopting dogs rather than going to a breeder and buying a dog, because I think especially in this city and province, there's a need. So many animals that need to be adopted. So there's no need to go and buy a dog when you can just adopt.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, it's really cool to see what you're doing off the field, and I think we're all looking forward to seeing what you and the boys will have for us on Saturday afternoon in the nation's capital. Keep on doing what you're doing. Congratulations on a great win, great start to the season, and here's to 5-on-1 on Saturday afternoon. Good luck to you and your teammates, and thanks for jumping on again, Brady. It's always great to have you on Winnipeg Sports Talk.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.